You will make it through. The fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah by your side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. You will make it through. The fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through.
How has the concept of Wala Wal Bara become diluted? There are so many ways in which it has become diluted today. Let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen. We've spoken about how it's become diluted in regards how we've diluted the allegiance towards Allah, how we've diluted allegiance, showing allegiance towards the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how we've diluted our allegiance towards each other. Well, now we're going to go over some things in particular, some more things in particular. So let me put that, I'm trying to open it up. You guys can see my, for those of you on Bigo, please make sure, Sister Anissa, get up in one of those boxes. When you come in here, Anissa, get up in one of those boxes to occupy a seat, since I can't close it up no further for some reason. Will it let me? Let's see if it'll let me now. Nope, it won't let me. Oh, yes, it did. It did. It did. It did now. Okay, let me see if it'll let me. Okay, it did now. It wouldn't let me close it up before. Yeah, when y'all come in, get it hot. When y'all see those boxes open, take them, SunnahFollowers. When SunnahFollowers comes in, take those boxes. Okay, so let's see. So there we go. Okay, so now what we're going to do is speak about other ways in which our allegiance towards Allah, towards the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and towards the religion of Islam has become violated today in 2025. And let's give some. I'm going to give some examples as to how it has become violated. Some examples of violations against Allah and his Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his religion. Look at how we disrespect Allah. A lot of Muslims say, what do you mean? We disrespect Allah. Well, whenever we engage in blasphemy or actions that disrespect Allah, such as making fun of his attributes, such as making fun of his commands, or we deny the things that he says about himself, this is showing disrespect towards him. We have to recognize as Muslims the greatness and the magnificence of Allah. By recognizing his greatness and his magnificence, this allows us to develop a deep respect for him. Why is it that many Muslims today have no respect for Allah? Because they don't know anything about him. That's why you have to learn Allah's names. You have to learn Allah's attributes. Because by learning his names, learning his attributes, you're learning about him. And by understanding his names and attributes, you understand his wisdom. And then you can approach him with humility and gratitude and love. We also show disrespect for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A lot of people will say, Sister Laila, how could you say that? We're Muslim. Well, how many of us insult the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? When you insult his wives, when you make fun of his wives, or you belittle his companions, you're insulting him. You're belittling him. When you make fun of his companions, you're making fun of him. When you insult his teachings, when you make fun of the beard, you're making fun of him. When you make fun of his commands, you're making fun of him. So we disrespect the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam just as much as we disrespect Allah. But by embracing, by learning about, just as we should learn the names and attributes of Allah, we Muslims need to study and learn the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because by learning his life and learning his teachings, this will serve as a source of guidance and inspiration for us. Instead of reading those self-help books written by Dr. Phil, instead of reading these pamphlets written by these nobodies of today, you need to go to Darul Islam bookstore and buy a book on the autobiography of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Or you need to go to Amazon.com and buy one of Dr. Karim Abuzaid's books on the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Or you need to go to atleonline.com and buy one of Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atlee's books on the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and get to know about him. Because by studying his character, then you can become dedicated to him. Then you can develop love for him. Then you can emulate him, take on his character, take on his behavior, his actions. And you would think twice before you ridicule something he said, or his wives, or his companions. Subhanallah. Also, how many of us neglect the principles of Islam? Whenever we ignore or neglect the principles of Islam, such as refusing to pray our prayers every day, refusing to fast during the month of Ramadan. How many of us women refuse to dress properly? Like I was saying yesterday, if the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam were alive today and saw how you sisters look when you go to the masjid, he would ban you. Most of you women go to the masjid, you're not dressed properly. Your hijabs are not correct. You wear tight-fitting clothes. You're showing your body parts. You're standing around posing for men. You have on perfume. You're interacting with the men. You're shaking hands with men. Whenever we neglect the fundamental principles of Islam, such as fulfilling and observing the pillars of faith, and we disregard the teachings of modesty, of haya, and things like that, we're also disrespecting our religion. We have to embrace the principles of Islam. And by doing this, this will provide a solid foundation and will help us to fulfill our purpose in life. By adhering to the principles of Islam, this will inspire us to actively seek the proper knowledge that Allah created us to seek. And then we would strengthen our connection with Allah. And this will in turn help us to deepen our relationship with Him. Another way that we violate our religion is by engaging in behavior that promotes everything that contradicts Islam, such as racism, discrimination, and things like that, that leads to rifts between us. It divides us. We're supposed to be one ummah, one nation. We're supposed to love each other. We're supposed to want for each other what we want for ourselves. We're supposed to recognize that Allah, when Allah created Adam, alayhi salam, the angel of death, collected dirt from all over the earth. He collected black dirt, red dirt, yellow dirt, white dirt, pink dirt, brown dirt, yellow dirt. A person asked me last month in my Islam Q&A, they said, Sister Laila, what color was Adam? The answer is Adam was the color of all the colors of the dirt. The angel of death brought back all the colors of the dirt of the earth. And Allah shaped it and molded all of that to create Adam. So we are diverse. Humanity comes in all colors, all shades. This was no mistake. It's not a mistake that some people are black, some people are brown, some people are yellow, some people are beige. We have to recognize the diversity within the Muslim community and understand that this diversity can be a source of strength and richness. And by fostering unity and embracing our differences and working together, we in turn can build a vibrant and inclusive nation that can celebrate its diversity and strive together as one for the pleasure of Allah, like those original companions did. They came from all colors, all backgrounds. They were diverse and they conquered the world. The Romans, they were the superpower of the world. They conquered, they would have taken over the entire earth. But who defeated them? The Romans were defeated by the Muslims, not the Arabs, the Muslims. When the Muslims defeated the Romans, their army consisted of Muslims from all over, including Romans. Because many of the Roman generals had converted to Islam and helped to defeat the Roman Empire. That's what diversity does. It brings about change because of the unity and of the diversity. Subhanallah. Also, another reason why Islam is distorted today, why we lack allegiance, is because we lack kindness and compassion. Whenever we fail to be sensitive towards each other, whenever we are indifferent and insensitive and show cruelty towards our fellow Muslim brothers and sisters, and we disregard their feelings or just focus on one group and not the others, this also leads to division. This leads to disparity. As Muslims, we're supposed to show kindness and compassion towards all Muslims, regardless of where they are in the world, regardless of as to what color, what country they come from. We don't just focus on one part of the Muslim world. We focus on all of the Muslim world. That's why I tell you guys, when you got to stop, first of all, protesting is haram. It's haram to protest. We don't protest the qadr of Allah. This is haram. everything that happens comes from Allah, good and bad. The Romans protesting began with the Romans and the Greeks. The Romans used to protest their rulers. The Prophet didn't join in and protest with them. We believe in the qadr of Allah. The Prophet Muhammad told us that war comes from Allah. We don't pick up flags. We don't pick up signs and protest the qadr of Allah. We make dua. We make dua. And we change the condition of ourselves. So protesting is haram. We don't protest against Allah. That's the first mistake you Muslims around the world are making. Number two, we don't pick up flags. Remember, our allegiance is not to a country. Our allegiance is not to a flag. You Muslims are walking around protesting the qadr of Allah, and you protesting with a flag of a country. There's Muslims suffering all over the world. This war, I hate to tell y'all the truth, it didn't begin with Gaza. This war began with Afghanistan during the Bush regime. Afghanistan, Iraq, Bosnia, they genocided Bosnia. The same thing happened in Bosnia, Afghanistan, Iraq, Kuwait. It's just spread it like Allah said it would. It went all through Africa, Sudan. The Sudanese are still being genocided. Nigeria, still genocided. Africa is still being genocided. This is not a Gaza war. This is not a war against Gaza, guys. This is the war against Islam that the Prophet Muhammad said would occur. And it's going to continue to spread until those 80 nations get together and sign that agreement to fight against all Islamic states. So it did not just begin 2 years ago. It's been happening, and it's going to continue. And as long as you people continue to behave like the non-Muslims with your protesting against the qadr of Allah, wrapped up in one country's flag, going to the Kafirs, voting for them, begging them to change your decree, Allah is going to keep this war as it is, which he's going to keep it like it is anyway. It ain't going to stop. He already said it's not stopping. Okay? We have to fall back. We have to learn our religion correctly from the proper sources. Stop neglecting the principles of Islam. Stop dividing this nation. Show compassion towards all of this ummah, not just one part of it. And show kindness and love towards all this ummah, not just one part of it. And again, it begins at home. The masajids right here in America. Y'all got to stop this racism. Stop just showing. That's why I keep telling y'all about leaving out of the boxes.
I smash you.
Okay. That's why I tell you guys, it's got to stop. It's got to begin right there in the masjids. You know, stop showing preferential treatment to certain races within your masjids. You know, you're going to show preference to the Arabs over the non-Arabs. You're going to show preferential treatment, you know, to the Bosnians over the non-Bosnians. You know, charity, it can start right within our Islamic communities, guys. Subhanallah. Also, We have to stop spreading false information too. This is why I was telling my students, a lot of my students still have not made a comeback. I have some students of mine who have not been the same in the past 2 years. Some of my male students, I've lost them, not from my website, but I've lost them mentally. They haven't been the same in the past 2 years. This past 2 years, what's going on in the world has impacted them mentally, and they haven't come back from it. Okay? I had to tell them to stop watching the news, stop watching TV, get off of social media, because there's so much false information being spread on social media. There's so much false information about Islam, about Muslims. We're being divided politically. I had to tell them, get out of the politics of this world. Get out of the politics. Believe it or not, guys, a lot of us Muslims are contributing to destroying us as an ummah by spreading false information, spreading false rumors, misinformation, engaging in gossip that's harming the reputation of fellow believers, or misrepresenting the teachings of Islam. You know, we hear about all these governments, the government of Saudi Arabia this, the government of Egypt that. May Allah curse this government. May Allah curse. First of all, we have to be careful cursing anyone who's a Muslim. I don't care if it's a government or not. Our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, be careful cursing another Muslim, because if that person is not worthy of that curse, it's going to come back on you. And you don't know what's going on in these countries. I don't know what's going on in these countries. You ain't living there. You don't know what's happening. You need to keep your mouth shut. But there are bad and good in everything. Our prophet taught us that. I do know this. I do know this. I know that the United Arab Emirates sent $8 million. $8 million. $8 million to the people of Gaza. I know that for a fact, because my brother-in-law is a part of that. So when you cursing people and you don't have your facts straight, it's gonna come back down on you. So that's why I had to tell my students, turn off your television, turn off what you hear on social media. Do like the prophet said, stay out of the politics of this world, because there is no power, there is no might other than Allah. Leave what's happening in the world in the fingers of Allah, because Allah is the one that's in control of what's happening in the world. There is not even a leaf falling from a tree unless Allah is willing it. So get out of the politics of this world and let Allah handle it. If the governments are doing something wrong, the Prophet Muhammad already made dua for us. That hadith is Sahih Bukhari and Muslim. The Prophet, before he died, he made dua saying, oh Allah, any rulers over my people who are abusing my nation, you deal with them. So the prophet has already looked out for us. We don't need you. You are a peasant. We don't need you to go around cursing people that you don't know nothing about, and all you're doing is misguiding the weak amongst us. And you got the weak amongst us messed up mentally, where they can't even survive day to day because they think, oh, Allah has abandoned us, because they're weak spiritually. You know, we have to understand. I want all of you listening to me to understand everything that's happening on this earth today is happening because Allah said for it to happen. Y'all understand that? Yeah. He's in control, not you, not me. Get out of the politics and do like the prophet said, work on you. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you live to see war, work on you. Make sure your aqidah is correct. Make sure that you are not the cause of Allah's war. War is a sign of Allah's anger. Make sure that you aren't one of the ones who are contributing to his anger. And make sure that when it hits you, because Allah said he sends war as a punishment to us all for not upholding Tawheed. But Allah has promised us that he will, when he raises us up, he'll judge us individually. So make sure that if you die as a result of the war and he raises you up and judges you, that your judgment will be just and good. So get out of the politics of the world. Allah's in charge. He's handling this. He don't need your input. He doesn't need your peon, peasant opinion. There's a lot of false information out there. There's a lot of propaganda out there. And there's a lot of Muslims who are terrorists. Believe it or not, a lot of these Muslims are terrorists. And they're trying to incite you. Okay? So if we uphold the truth and seek true knowledge, you know, you can overcome that crap. And again, remember that Allah is in charge. There is no power. There is no might other than he. Keep that in mind and keep it moving. Also, too many of us neglect our brotherhood responsibilities. We fail to fulfill our responsibilities to each other, such as not checking on each other. When we get sick, how many of us call on our brothers and sisters who are right here that we know and say, how you doing, sister? Do you need anything? How are the kids? Do they need anything? And I ain't talking about you sisters or you brothers calling and checking on people who are not mahrams to you. No, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about you sisters checking on the sisters in your community. I'm talking about you brothers checking on the brothers in your community. I ain't talking about that intermixing. I'm not talking about that hanky-panky, stanky stuff that shouldn't be happening. I'm talking about you having your wife call and check on that sister. You having your husband call and check on a brother. The Islamic way, not the Kafir way. We need to do that more because there are Muslims in our community who may be in need of help and we're neglecting them. They're starving or they're lonely or they have mental health issues. A lot of Muslims today are suffering with mental health issues. Those women that you brothers are messaging on social media, why do y'all think those women are on social media? They got mental health issues. That's why you shouldn't be messaging them. They crazy, most of them. Okay? And you end up finding out when you hook up with them just how crazy they are, don't you? You know? Instead of you messaging those women, have your real wife get some help for these sisters. These brothers that you women are messaging, they got mental health issues too. Especially the ones with 2, 3 wives and 50 children. That should tell you they got some mental issues. How the heck I'm gonna have 3 wives and 50 kids and I'm still ain't satisfied? I'm messaging you. Tell that brother to go get some mental help. Okay? We got to check on the people in our communities, guys. They need support. They need assistance. Whenever we embrace the concept of true sisterhood, true brotherhood, that's how we become strong. Remember, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the greatest weapon that we have against Shaitan is each other. That was the weapon that the companions had. Why is it? Shaitan became angry when Islam spread throughout the peninsula of Arabia. He was angry and he said, well, I'm going to try to attack them. I'm going to try to make them hate each other. I'm going to try to pull them apart. And that's when the prophet said the greatest weapon that we have is each other. We have to stand firm, stand united, love each other. Because as long as we are together like this, Shaitan has no way of impacting us. And also, we have to pray, guys. Prayer is everything. We cannot neglect our 5 prayers every day. Because long as we perform those 5 daily prayers, that keeps us under the protection of Allah. Those 5 daily prayers prayed on time, within the time frame that Allah has put them in. They keep us under the protection of Allah. And also, we have to stop condemning other Muslims. We have to stop making takfir, calling each other kafirs. Like I said earlier, cursing each other, calling each other kafir, and all of that, because that destroys us as a nation. And we have to continuously seek knowledge of this religion. That should be our priority. Whatever you do, you have to come to these classes every day. My classes are every day at 6:30 and 9:30. You have to make it a habit to attend these 2 classes every day, because those 2 classes are what's going to give you the inspiration and the motivation to stay strong and to handle whatever trials you have in life. And also, never neglect the rights of others. Remember the rights that our Muslim brothers and sisters have over us. If you owe somebody money, pay them back their debt. Don't go around slandering another Muslim's character. Don't go around taking another Muslim's property. We should be able to trust each other. Okay? And always try to improve yourself. Understand that this world, this life is short. Death can come knocking at any time on your door. So you want to go out with a good ending. So you want to constantly, before you go to bed each night, ask yourself, am I going to bed a believer or am I going to bed a hypocrite? So always make sure, that you're improving yourself. And always give in charity. Remember, we talked about how every good deed that we do is an action of charity. You do not want to be a hypocrite. You don't want to be a person that claims to believe in Allah, but your actions show otherwise. You don't want to say that you're a Muslim, but your behavior is that of a non-Muslim. That's a hypocrite. So these are the things I wanted to go over today.